Hey, this is News Rocky coming to you live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. from 80 Broadway, downtown Norwich at the Pie Hop Studio. News Rocky. Hey guys, I just got out of rehab, political rehab, taking on fake news, and we know there's plenty of that out there. So tune in each and every day, get your full complement of all the fake news. We'll drill down on it harder than a pile driver on the WWE wrestling. Hey guys, this is News Rocky coming to you live. As said in that intro, this is Kevin Skulczyk, your host, the former politician in the state of Connecticut. As we say all the time, politician in recovery, coming to you live from 80 Broadway in downtown Norwich, above Pie Hops, this new restaurant in this awesome Pie Hops studio right next to the Norwich Town Hall. Guys, if you haven't tried this restaurant out, I'm going to tell you right now with the Christmas holiday right here upon us, I recommend you get down here and try something here today or one of the days over the next few days. I hear that on this weekend they're possibly going to have some live music down there in the evening. We'll be promoting that with Pie Hop Studio as well. And this is the Helms Media product. News Rocky coming to you, trying to break down on the fake news and the news of the day. And we're going to cover a lot of articles today. This is going to be me and you talking. I want this engagement to take place. Before we start, guys, a big shout out to Pie Hop Studio for the right there. I think you can read it. If you can't read it, let me tell you what it says. It says "Fuck you, 2020," and I'm going to give a big cheers to that. Thanks, Pie Hop Studio, because "Fuck you, 2020" is about the best thing I heard all day. No doubt in my mind, 2020 has been one of those years, and we definitely will have a 2020 recap right before the New Year's. But right now, today. We'll try to stay focused on the news of the day, which we have plenty of that to talk about. I don't know if you guys have heard, but we had a stimulus package approved, at least on its way to the president's desk. Still has one more passage through the Senate. But President Trump himself has come right out and started hammering on this package. And one of the interesting things about this COVID bill package, which we're going to refer to an article here in the New York Times, in the New York Post, if you could pull that up, perfect. And what we're going to talk about is this Congress passed this $2.3 trillion COVID-19 relief fund. And in this funding package, guys, those of you who are out there, who are out of work, who are struggling, who are looking, for the government, honestly, to do their part. Because quite frankly, let's face it, I'm not a big government handout guy. I'm not a big let's tax and burden kind of person. But one of the things I definitely can tell you is that government has created this issue. The restrictions put upon the restaurant industry, all the industries across the board, the burden that's been put on these industries to try to figure out how to survive. Right here in Connecticut, we've had over 600 restaurants go out of business since this has started. Now, this is where this is really, really interesting. And the difference here is that this passes through Congress. It has a lot of bipartisan work. In fact, we know that the Republicans and Democrats are both trying to resolve this issue in the House and the Senate. Interesting enough, the president comes out and says, this is not enough. This is not enough. He wants to give $2,000 for each and every resident citizen of America. He also comes out strongly criticizing in this COVID package some of the fat, so to speak, in this package. Now, there's very two distinct things going on, guys. You got to pay attention, right? So there's one relief bill, and then there's the normal budget bill that needs to be passed. And see, what these crafty, sneaky little politicians do all the time when it comes to passing a bill, they attach what's called a rat's tail. You guys want to talk about it? This is what it is. See, behind the curtain in the scene is going on. This is where it's really taking place, the horse trading in the back room. I'll give you this for that. You give me that for this. This COVID package doesn't address only the needs of Americans and a stimulus package for American business. This package includes a budget that includes billions of dollars in foreign aid to other countries. In Pakistan, to do research on transgender. This package includes, that's millions of dollars for that one, guys. This is a package that includes so much pork and fat that it's almost inconceivable how these elected officials, two of my favorite elected officials, by the way, that are in Washington, D.C., they're our own Connecticut-based senators. I like to refer to them mostly as Baby Arms and Twiggy. And Baby Arms and Twiggy's the two senators who are such strong opposition to President Donald Trump and his administration. I can tell you for a fact that these two senators from Connecticut, their wet lips, always trying to get in front of a camera, always trying to give a sound bite, always coming out as a critical, sort of position taken against this administration. Chris Murphy himself today, which I refer to as Baby Arms. Twiggy, I think Twiggy is Dick. Dick is Twiggy, and Baby Arms is Murphy. Basically, Chris Murphy comes out and in a bold-faced lie and says it's unfortunate the president now wants to give $2,000, which he supports, by the way. Chris Murphy supports this concept. There they are, right there, guys. Look at my two great senators from Connecticut. These guys are clearly masculine men who do a lot of hard work. They're out there chopping wood and trees, getting the fire stoked for the night. This is a great example of two suits that sit on their asses every day, and all they do is talk. They talk, but unfortunately, they don't have the walk. You see, this is the thing with Chris Murphy in particular. This guy loves to throw so much against the wall. He's constantly talk about someone who criticized President Trump for his tweeting. This guy, Chris Murphy, our senator, Baby Arms and Twiggy, they love to go at President Trump's administration on a consistent. They try to take him down for the Russian collusion. They were going to do this. They were going to do that. And they're just constantly going out there on the rails about it. Well, interesting enough, Twiggy and Baby Arms are very critical of this position by the President of the United States in this COVID package. Now, the president is threatening not to sign this into law. There is an ability for that to still pass through, as quoted by Chris Murphy, go back to the Senate. The Senate can force it forward and get a consent on it through both Republican and Democrats voting. And I believe that will happen. There is a package coming. But I want to correlate this concept of the COVID relief package. And I want to, it's Christmas time. So in the spirit of the holidays and the Christmas season, our great senators, Twiggy and Baby Arms, down there fighting hard for the people. I kind of get a vision of Miracle on 34th Street, guys. You know what I mean? Like all of a sudden it's Christmas, and we realize that these senators and these congressmen and women that just fought, for their own elections, but really have not been in Washington, D.C. through most of the coronavirus issue. But now all of a sudden they're going to stay there till the 11th hour. They're working hard for the American people, and they were going to hand you $600. That's what they think you're worth, $600. When the China virus came here from China, it was certainly something that was taken very seriously by the administration. Unfortunately, the criticisms of people like Twiggy and Baby Arms and many of the other senators and congressmen and women, and for the record, Republican and Democrat alike, came out swinging on the handling of the COVID reaction from this president. When this could have taken place months ago, Nancy Pelosi herself, which you guys, you got to kind of look at this one. This is Nancy posing for a fake vaccination shot like the rest of the politicians. This is Nancy Pelosi, who is the leader of her party in Congress, and quite frankly, probably the most important Democrat in all of Washington, D.C. More important, actually, than even the incoming president in many ways, this is the person who will set the table for anything that's going to pass through the House and Senate. Nancy Pelosi herself admitted many months ago that she was not going to get back to the table to negotiate with the president, with the Senate, with the Republican Party until after the election, and Joe Biden was secured. This is kind of interesting, guys. Think about it for a moment. This is what we have in our political representation in Washington, D.C. You talk about the fake news and the creation of news. Each and every day, we can look at every article today that's on the cover of every one of these papers in front of every newsstand across this country. And I will promise you, we could take a look and see how the narrative changes from, say, CNN to Fox News, right? We can see how Fox News pops up one thing, CNN a whole nother thing. And I did some checking on some articles, in particularly with comparing how they're being represented to the people. And I find it most interesting that when you look at something like, for example, with Hunter Biden, a Wall Street Journal article recently had this article about Hunter Biden and the family name aided deals with the foreign tycoons. This article leads into some real discomfort I believe, for the Biden family. Unfortunately, again, Joe Biden is denying anything's ever happened. There's been no trouble. This is this paradise here in the Biden household, and Hunter is not guilty of anything. But there's no doubt that when you look at Joe Biden and his stance he's taken all along, pretty much got a pass during the election on this question, and then all of a sudden it resurfaces, and now we have this pending litigation, this pending investigation with a warrant being prepared for tax evasion. And this is not like not paying your local property taxes. This is not like not paying your automobile taxes in your community, or maybe missing a tax return this year. This is billions of dollars in transactions in international business that right here in this article. And by the way, you guys out there, a lot of my Democratic, liberal, lovely friends who I love dearly, you really love to refer to articles. And the Wall Street Journal is the one covering this one, guys. So I don't know if you're going to believe it or not, but here's what they're reporting, which is Hunter Biden and all these named tycoons, and it exactly breaks down how the Chinese tycoon gave Mr. Biden 2.8 carat diamond, and he wired him nearly $5 million. This is all being tracked. It's all evidence in this case pending. But yet we have the incoming president of the United States, Joe Biden, the father of Hunter Biden, who has been identified as benefiting in these real estate business deals throughout the world because of his last name. This is very interesting. And now I challenge you to tell me, where's the fake in here? Is it fake that Hunter Biden was not involved in any of this? Can you tell me where we need to look at this as evidence that's not real? Is this fictitious that the facts are coming forward? They have plenty of information that's being shared. And I'm kind of interested to hear what you out there have to say about Hunter Biden, because I think it has a major effect on how long, that is, President-elect Joe Biden will be in office. Was this just all a planned event? Was it planned possibly to keep the Democratic candidate in the position to win? And I'm talking to Joe Biden, who obviously is the president-elect. I mean, think about it. Is maybe the 47th president really what's at play here? Possibly, because let's look at it. Who's the 47th president, guys? We all know it's going to be Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is next in line right after this goes down. I'm going to give a prediction. We're going to go off the rails a little bit here, guys, and just kind of talk about predictions. I'm going to tell you in 2021, Joe Biden's going to go through about maybe 3 to 5 months. The hearings will ensue in the Senate. And this all is predicated on a senatorial race down in Georgia. We're going to get to that in a moment, but I want to kind of talk this concept through. I think what's going to happen down there as far as this whole thing with Joe Biden is going to go 3-6 months out. It's going to get real ugly for Hunter. Joe's going to get physically and mentally stressed. People like Twiggy and Baby Arms, they'll do their best to hold him up, but they have no strength in those arms, so they won't be able to do it. But the whole play here at the end of the day is to get the 47th president in line, Kamala Harris, to step in for Joe Biden. I'm going to throw a bigger opinion out. I think then Cory Booker. Yes, Senator Cory Booker gets pulled up and brought in as a vice president of the United States. Very interesting, right? Conspiracy theory, right? Fake news, maybe. Well, since I'm writing the narrative, I don't know if it's fake or not, but I'm telling you my predictions. And I will promise you this. News Rocky will keep on this story. We'll keep bringing it up. And if I'm wrong, I will what do I do? Eat a shoe? I don't know what I do. That's kind of gross. I'm not going to eat a shoe. I'll come up with something. If I'm wrong, I'll definitely do it on air and be responsible enough to accept but I will promise you in my gut, in my heart, and I've been a student of the political system since 18 years old. I've been a real study of this stuff. That's why I'm a nerd when it comes to the political side of the conversation. But I will tell you, I believe in my heart of hearts that Joe Biden will not make it more than 1 year in office. His son will get convicted, and he will leave office in shame. And you know what the real shame is? I believe the Democratic National Party, the power players behind the scenes, the people who are really running the country, prompted this individual up to think that he really was going to become president, all for an opportunity to elect their own guy over the opposition of Donald Trump. Kind of interesting how things play out in Washington, D.C. when you look at the actual attitude down there and you look at some of the other things that are going on, there's a big criticism now of Donald Trump and his pardons. And this article, let's see, well, we can go to any article actually. Um, there's a lot of criticism in the fact that Donald Trump just recently has pardoned several individuals, including a group of Blackwater employees who were in Iraq and actually were involved in a shooting. These are private civilians who were hired security over there with Blackwater. I think we tie Blackwater into Dick Cheney. We can tie that into Bill Clinton. We can also have a lot of opportunity to tie the real players behind the scenes, Bush Sr., Bush Jr., into these other sort of splintered off business opportunities that have made a lot of money. This group of individuals were over there, and a um, shooting took place. And from what I was able to obtain and read on the article, is that there was children killed, uh, grown-ups killed. These were in a bad place, in a bad military zone, and it happened. This president has pardoned this group of Blackwater employees, coming under great criticism, quite frankly, by the left, kind of throwing out that these pardons and the attempt by President Trump is really being ID'd as sort of a misuse of power. But I would ask anyone out there and talk to us, guys. I see that we're getting some comments popping up, and the fuck you 2020 is right here, guys. Got this at Pie Hops today. I don't really know who makes it. I probably should. It's got a really cool little label there. Very cool. It says fuck you 2020. So I do know that when you look at this comparison of Donald Trump's pardons and, say, the last president, Barack Obama, there is definitely some indication that this is a common thing under any president. So the criticism of the national corporate media, the left side, is going to come anyways, because the noise about this president, there's one thing that I can guarantee you is it doesn't matter. I've said it before. If Donald Trump took, for example, with this COVID package, let's say he comes out and says he wants $2,000 for every American and four for married couples. And you know what he's saying? He's saying it's not enough. He's throwing it out there. Now everyone's thinking he's playing to some. What's the game? The game is, I really do believe this guy cares about America in comparison to the $600 that these people are trying to throw at you. Again, like miracles on the 34, a miracle on 34th Street, right at the last minute, right before Christmas. We're gonna, if you guys remember this story, Saint Nicholas was being charged with assault. He actually worked as a Macy's Day Santa. Let's just kind of pretend Washington D.C. is pretend, which it is. And these senators and these Congress people are down there right now trying to pretend like they're actually doing everything they can for the people of America. I find it actually insulting, guys, and I'd love to hear your point out there. Um, do you love your state senators, your representatives? Do you think that maybe it's time for us to get maybe somebody new, maybe get a new voice, new representation? I believe that's true. I think it's time. I don't want someone that served in office for 40 years. I don't want someone that served in office for 20 years. You know what? Yeah, you go down there. There should be a thing called term limits. We've talked about that all the time on this show, and I definitely believe term limits are a solution. They are definitely a solution for some of these issues we deal with. But I will tell you, I also think that there are good politicians out there. All right. I did say it, and I think there's some good people trying to do good work, trying to make, obviously, a difference for their constituency as well as this country. But, when you kind of see the scene and you are able constantly to, just be regurgitating the same information that we kind of get, this is what causes us not to believe the news. This is why fake news, and by the way, fake news didn't start yesterday. I know many of you out there who used to go into households and you see the Inquirer, right? And you see that other magazine and the aliens. I think Hillary Clinton, when she ran for office, she had an alien baby. I mean, this is not anything new, but it's the technique for which fake news is being utilized. And when you look at these claims against Hunter Biden, back to that, it's interesting because this has been pushed away by corporate media all summer long, right into the election. And now you see the little bit of, the corporate media folks are starting to to bite at this just a little bit, trying to figure it out. You know why? Because they know there's going to be, they need the next bad guy, right? So they're going to turn on Biden faster than you can shake a stick at it. And it's interesting, again, if you didn't see that, Joe Biden mocks questions about Hunter as mainstream media remains largely uh, uninterested. And this is true. I'm curious on, I talked about the Wall Street Journal, and that's a reputable magazine or magazine newspaper. You definitely can give claim to them being reputable. Why are they covering this versus some of the other national corporate media? I find it to be very telling that there's going to be a turn here on the Biden family very soon. And I think Hunter Biden is going to be holding the bag. So, with regards to some of the other noise going on out there, it's very interesting to see all the stories that are popping right now as far as what's on CNN, what's on Fox News. If we could pull up the CNN report, it's a little different than what we have on the Fox coverage, but you have voting machine company executive sues Trump allies for defamation. This is pretty interesting, guys. And when you think about this from a perspective of news and fake news, think about what's happening. So the Giuliani told to preserve all records as lawyers for Dominion warrant legal action is coming. And this legal action that's coming, guys, is going to come in the form of obviously lawsuits and defamation lawsuits. The defamation law firm representing Dominion voting system has sent letters to the White House counsel and the President Trump's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, instructing them to preserve all records related to the company at the center of Trump's conspiracy theory and warning Giuliani that legal action is imminent. Well, this is a really interesting one. And so when we got into this with Dominion, we learned a lot about who was behind the company. We had Gordon Vidal that came on this week with us. Gordon's going to come on again. He's going to talk about Dominion. He's going to actually share with us some of his actual facts that he has deeply researched, him and his wife, and they are very bright people who get into the national, international conspiracy theories. We call them conspiracy theories, but they actually debunk them. So they take the fake news approach of trying to prove the facts. And in this story with Dominion, I know that we're going to shed more light on it with Gordon, but this is a very telling issue. If Dominion is coming out swinging like this, which I don't blame them, they have a business to protect. They have every right to protect themselves. And if they feel they're being attacked, maliciously, I feel this might backfire. And here's what I'm going to give you after reading this article about this pending lawsuit and this now stance from Dominion. I read that there's going to be an opportunity actually for a cross sort of examination of facts. And I think that might be the one side that Dominion does not want to expose when it comes to their involvement in any of this corruption and the voting fraud that was claimed to have taken place this election. So what else do we have here? We have some other interesting stuff. Survivors, as I said, of the Blackwater massacre, which was called in Iraq, slammed the Trump pardons. Again, that was referred to a few moments ago. This is sort of that. This is now on the cover of CNN. This is big news right now because this situation and this pardon of these former military officers and agents that were working for Blackwater Security involved.
You look at this round of pardons. What's your feeling about them in terms of national?
We were pulling up some stuff there. We'll get to that later. Right now, basically, we'll stay on this one. So the pardon issue, I think, is going to be interesting. I think there'll probably be more noise from the left side, the opposition side, about these pardons. And obviously, look, every president does it. You can check in the history of this country. Every president from the beginning to the end will be in the position to make pardons. In fact, even pardon themselves. Some have speculated that Donald Trump, that this is a sort of fake news thing, but there's speculation that Donald Trump himself might pardon himself and his family in hopes that if he does get indicted, which I will clearly put on the record, as much as I stand behind the fact that Joe Biden won't finish a year in office, I do believe Donald Trump will face some sort of a investigation and/or trial from the congressional and Senate Democratic Party leadership. They're salivating to get him back, so to get him on the stand. And it's going to be interesting how that plays out. It will be something probably that the history of this country has never seen. And unfortunately, we are going to be forced to witness that with this process. You talk about, again, this COVID bill, and kind of COVID, the whole reaction across the country has been so determined. Talk about the fake news sort of concept. The reality with the response from government across, we see our favorite governor, who is not Ned Lamont. Ned Lamont's actually a nice guy. I just think he's in a leadership role, he's being guided. But my favorite governor in the country is Governor Cuomo. Governor Cuomo recently came out, and he's been everyone's darling. I mean, the national corporate media loves Governor Cuomo. Everyone, if we can pull, I think there's maybe a recent article, maybe covered by Cuomo recently about his defiance and his lack of respect to the federal government. Here's a guy that has been demanding everything, and quite frankly, through Chuck Schumer and some of the other powerhouse players, AOC, in New York, all those folks have been rallying around him and really telling us, America, this is your governor. Here's an example. Well, guys, this Governor Cuomo, here's some of the fake news. They want to tell you how great he is. What about the families of people who passed away in homes that were occupied by seniors, or in rehab facilities, in prisons? The outbreaks that took place under his watch. The same individual, Governor Cuomo, who comes out swinging on everyone else. This same guy is the same guy that actually has really followed up that entire process in New York City, and many people have criticized him for that. You look at the handling of the restaurant and entertainment industry. Now, granted, we believe coronavirus is real. COVID-19 is real. There's no argument here from the News Rocky show. There's no argument from anyone with common sense. But it's the reaction of government that has caused the need for this billions and billions of dollars in this trillion, actually, $2.3 trillion in COVID relief. Guys, do you realize what the national debt is? The national debt here in this country, which I have to pull up, and I'm sure we can pull it up quickly, but the national debt in America is growing every day. We don't put more money in. We just keep taking money out that's not in there. We keep on burdening this issue, right? Pushing it down the road. Now, I'm not arguing that our people in America need this relief package. They need it today. They didn't need it yesterday. They didn't need it tomorrow. They needed it last week, 2 months ago. They didn't need it now. But you know what? This is what it comes to. So I can see this thing is ticking right here. All right. I'm going to tell you, my eyes are 51 years old, but I can tell you that's a lot of money right there ticking. You're watching the national debt grow actively. This is Truth in Accounting. This is a live site you can watch. You can go right on there each and every day. Guys, that's how much money right now the federal government owes in their debt service. You guys ever get a budget for something like a municipality or a government budget or your own budget? You have a debt service line. That line right there keeps growing. So think about it. This $2.3 trillion COVID relief package, which is made up of more than half of this package, is going to overseas countries and subsidies to the Kennedy Center is now benefiting again for the second round. Millions and billions of dollars being handed out. Now, I'm not questioning whether or not we have to help each one of these industries, including the entertainment industry, including the restaurant industry, including the residents and just the hardworking people in America. But it's the way it's being done, guys. This is such a political stunt. And credit to Donald Trump. Credit to Donald Trump for stepping up and saying, enough is enough. Call fake news like it is, Donald Trump, like you did. 600's fake. It doesn't do anything. What are people going to do with $600? I'm not trying to be rude, and I'm not a guy, I'm a conservative when it comes to taxes. We just pulled up the debt service. Every day it's growing like crazy. That's what we owe. And we keep on borrowing and borrowing money. And what are we doing to our grandkids and their grandkids? China's lurking. We talked about it 2 weeks ago. 2035, China came out and said publicly, we will be stronger with our military and economy in 2035, be way stronger. No one can touch us in the world, including the United States. Guys, they are flat out warning you. They are flat out warning you, the American citizens, of what's going on. Think about it. Coronavirus, right? Fake news. Fake news was Donald Trump got up and said the China virus. Oh, he was a racist and it came from Wuhan, China, a lab. There's nothing fake about it. It's a reality. See, but CNN, CNBC, CBS, all the corporate news channels, New York Times, all these papers, they called him a racist. He's been called a homophobe. He's been called everything you can think of across the chart. And you know what? It's so fun to watch those people that hate this guy so much type away with their little pointy fingers, typing away, trying to make up stories. Yeah, they take narratives that are real. Did he say something? Sure, he did. Did he say it in that way? No. How many times was this president called racist? And each and every time there was an ability to debunk that fake story because he never said anything that was claimed that he said. As he said stupid stuff, 100%. Do we think slapping in the is good? No. Do I think that some of the things he tweets is good? No. But this coronavirus bill, he said enough is enough. And he does have the ability to stop it on the first round. If it comes back and it has consent, it will go through and it will go through. But the nice thing is he's forced the legislature, in a sense, the Congress and Senate here, to actually, most of the power players, and particularly those in the side of the Democratic House and Senate, said, yeah, we'll give 2,000. So you know what? For the American people, I really want. I think we all should thank Donald Trump for committing himself to the people. I do want to say to those legislators, Twiggy and Baby Arms, Murphy and Dick Blumenthal, that hopefully you go back to Washington D.C. and you cut all that fat out, so we don't keep seeing that grow every day. You know, and it won't be any better if we continue to allow that to happen. We need to focus on America first. Put it here, not there. Who's hacked us? Why won't 45 admit it's Russia? Okay, so one of the things I can tell you that this Russian hacking issue that we were able to read up with is really an interesting one. It's kind of regurgitated news in a lot of ways, right? Because I mean, you think about, we heard about Russia and the collusion with Russia, all the things that happened in early 2016. In fact, if you remember, then we were hearing about Flynn. We were hearing about all this collusion that was taking place. This is what led into the congressional investigations. This is what gave the senators and think about it, all these Congress and senators who grandstand, and Harris and I think it was Booker who was going to be a Spartan. No, that was it when he was in the Supreme Court hearings. But the bottom line is we saw all this theater from all these folks back then. And, we kind of find it, and should we be concerned now in this claim of Russia hacking? And I think there's enough information here, guys. Like, I mean, there is no doubt. You could probably pull up your neighbor's Wi-Fi, hack into it pretty easily. I mean, I'm sitting here with a tech guy. He's not. I mean, this isn't hard to do. I can't do it. I'm inept when it comes to this stuff. But I probably could even get a device that can pick up a phone line that I could probably get at Radio Shack and build together. There's no doubt we're being hacked every day. There's no doubt. And, this is a sad part about this country that, I don't know if the 45th president has come out and admitted. I think he's indicated several times there's great concerns with Russia. The details are in the pudding. But how much of this stuff is just played for theater? How much of this stuff is already, it's amplified, right? It's souped up to an extent. So we kind of all have that conversation in America. I think it's kind of interesting, though. This is really a big deal now. This is a big deal to some. Like, say, again, I pick on my senators here, but Twiggy and Baby Arms, they have a lot to say, And hey, let me ask you guys, if you would like. I put out today a lot of posts. I was posting some things. You're hedging. Stop making excuses for the thing. I love you, Rich. How's California out there, brother? So one of the things I'll tell you is that Richard, Dick Blumenthal, and Chris Murphy, they love to run in front of a camera. I mean, even more than News Rocky does. So I think it's pretty telling. They love to be in front of that camera. Their lips are all wet, and they're just talking away, and they're getting into it. I love the fact that these two guys, right, they're so critical of what's going on over there. It's interesting when I mean over there. I mean, they're preoccupied by Donald Trump. They're constantly saying lies and fake news and this and that about it, souping up certain parts of stories, trying to make something out of nothing. They've been a total critic. And for the state of Connecticut, Chris Murphy himself has been coming out with, we got the COVID package approved. It's coming back, to Connecticut. Dude, you weren't even in Connecticut for the last 6 months. You've been out campaigning for Joe Biden. You talk about fake lies? Chris Murphy, I'm talking right to you right now. And I know you're watching because I know I irritate you. And you know what? I'm glad I do because I'm your constituent and that's my right, and you suck. And here's the deal. Chris Murphy, all you did for the last 6 months is go out and campaign for Joe Biden. You know why, Chris Murphy? Because you want an appointment. You want to get appointed to the White House. You want to get some appointment in some position there. You know it. We know it. You weren't down in Pennsylvania campaigning when Connecticut was closing restaurants. Now all of a sudden you're concerned about it. You know why? Because all you are is a typical politician, just like Dick. You and Dick, just a couple dicks who go down to Washington, D.C. and lie to all the people and then come back. And you know what? This is the madness for somebody like me. How can you honestly look in the mirror knowing that you are as guilty or worse than even the claims that you lay at the feet of Donald Trump? This is my thing. Nancy Pelosi, come on, man. Guys, wake up. They all suck. They all lie. And there's one reason why I will continue to support President Donald Trump. He's not a politician. He is everything but a politician, guys. He said what he was going to do, and he's done it. And he's not backed down from it. He's taken on each one of these issues stone cold in the face, looking him right down the barrel, so to speak, and he's dealing with it. Is he great? No. Is he the best president ever? I think he's the best president that's ever broken the mold. You know, I said early on, if Barry Sanders was actually given his due opportunity in 2016, and he got ripped off again in 2020, this guy would have been just like Donald Trump in a lot of ways. Yeah, he plays golf. He loves, it is amazing. And to the campaigning question, you know what? Donald Trump's going to campaign for 2024. Here's the rest of my prediction, guys. I put it out there. The 45th will obviously be running against the 47th, which will be Kamala Harris in that 2024 election. That's coming. You know what? And you think about it. 4 years is not far away for politics. So in about a year, we'll see people mounting up on both sides. I wonder who's going to come out on the Republican side and try to get that, get that nod. Do you think there'll be anybody out there that will come and have enough of the energy, so to speak, to take on a Donald Trump for the 2024 election? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. If you guys have any comments on that, listen, guys, the Russian thing, you keep popping up questions on it. I'm going to tell you this. There's no doubt that there's not collusion rather, but there's enough evidence that there has been influence from Russia, from China. We've been battling this issue. We have Swalwell, the congressman out of California, who recently was now found evidence that he was in a sexual relationship with a Chinese spy. You have Senator Feinstein, California. Ironic, right? These senators from out there. I know you're out there, Rich, and I know you love them. But they're out there, and Senator Feinstein had a driver for almost, 15 to 20 years. This driver was also identified as a Chinese spy. Have you heard much about that, though? I mean, you got a lot of that going on? It was just one blurb. It's kind of ironic, right? That Donald Trump could literally shit a golden egg, and the national corporate media would not want to give credit for anything. He could solve the entire budget issue and cut a check if he had that money. And this is all magic. This is fake, by the way. And he could do it all. And the corporate media would say, not enough. And the people like Dick and Chris Murphy, Twiggy and Baby Arms would say the same thing. Not enough, not good enough. He's mean. He's a bad guy. He's not a nice guy. You know what, guys? It's definitely, Feinstein does have to go. That's from California. And Swalwell messed up. Well, what did he mess up on? He messed up by having a relationship with someone who was a Chinese spy. But yet, it's almost like you don't hear about it on the Why is it, guys? We don't hear about these conversations on the national corporate media. Why are they crickets on this? I have my own theory. I certainly think that many of you probably share my theory. I think some of you disagree with my theory, but there is a true relationship with national corporate media, insider politicians, industry leaders, lobbyists across the world. Talk about I have a lot of great friends who are lobbyists, and I think lobbying is an important process for our developing those relationships with corporate businesses, needy, whatever the needs are for industries to negotiate those things with your elected officials. However, when it comes to giving foreign aid to through this budget that was just passed, and these are two budgets, actually, a budget and the COVID relief were put into one package. Again, I talked about it earlier, guys. Talk about the rat's tail. This is a rat's tail. This is a opportunity for political control party politicians like Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, even quite frankly, the Republican leadership in the Senate to put in those things, those pork bellies that they want to kind of feed out to their constituents and their relationships with business leaders across the world and the country. This is the shameful part of politics, guys. And when I talk about like why are we talking about one thing and not the other, it's quite interesting that most people are following this senatorial race in Georgia, where we have a Democratic candidate, Raphael Warnock, who has an ex-wife, who this video just surfaced. If we can pull that up. Now, this is this incident. It has been covered. It was covered briefly by the national corporate media. This issue is again with a senatorial candidate who's in this runoff election in Georgia. These are two very important positions in this runoff. These are two positions. If flipped, the two Democratic positions could be taken, and they could take total control of the House and Senate and the presidency. And that is a very big challenge for all of us. You're not so the Kevin, your feed is breaking up. It's jumped back in. Okay. Anyways, are we good now? I guess. Maybe it's yours, mine. I don't know. So with this article that we're going to pull up here, this Democratic candidate had an issue where his ex-wife was filed a complaint with the local law enforcement. This case is several months old, back in March, actually. His ex-wife then said that he actually took a vehicle and ran over her foot. I bring this up because this is a very interesting conversation piece for, right before Christmas. Because all you folks out there, have all your stockings hung by the chimney with care and hope that Donald Trump doesn't drop anything in there. You're all so fixated on hating him like he's the Grinch that you're not really focusing on what's going on. You're so preoccupied by the bouncing ball of entertainment that's fed to you each and every day by the fake corporate media. You see, the fake corporate media won't even cover this today. This video has been released. And you know what the fake corporate media, the only thing I was able to come up with a comment from CNN was that this was a way for them to distract, meaning the Republicans, distract from this upcoming runoff election. And they held the Republicans responsible for this individual being accused by his ex-wife of running over her feet, assaulting her, the Reverend, right? Now, if you guys get a chance, pull up the video. I'm going to tell you what, right now. I know lots of men, including myself. There's something that is in that video that tells me he is 100% guilty. And shame on the law enforcement. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. I don't think it was on purpose. They kept a perceived victim next to an ex-husband who clearly dominates that woman. You could see it in the video. Watch the video, guys. You'll see her actions. You'll see how he speaks while she stands next to her. And the police officers investigating this right there on the street, giving this guy some sort of respect. We had a really interesting conversation yesterday about white privilege and all the benefits that are given to individuals. Well, here is a black man who is being accused by his wife there that her feet were ran over. Again, just to keep the case and the evidence clear. Later, there was no evidence to prove that she was injured in any way. I don't know if intent versus injury is ultimately a deciding factor in charges, but no charges were ever filed in this case. And I wonder why. There is some speculation that this case has lots to do more with the fact that there are more important things than a victim. And I lay this at the feet of the national corporate media. I believe during the Kavanaugh hearings, we heard a lot about victims. I myself will say that the two most victimized classes in this entire country are women and Native Americans. But yet we see on this entire issue that nobody is really the victim other than this particular woman. This woman made these claims. And in these claims, the law enforcement officer who was there failed by actually investigating right in front of the accused. Guys, think about it. I pulled this article up. I will promise you right now, run this right now and Google search it. You will not see it on CNN. You will not see it. Can we run that actually? Hey, we're going to run this right now. I want you to listen and watch this, and then we're going to cue it up, and then we're going to talk about it.
Raphael Warnock is a highly political preacher who's now running for Senate in the state of Georgia in one of the two races that will determine who controls the federal government. That race is 2 weeks from now on January 5th. So it's a little late in the game to be getting the footage we're about to show you exclusively. This is footage of Raphael Warnock's wife. Fox News senior correspondent Rick Leventhal has the story for us tonight. Hey, Rick.
Hey, Tucker, this is never before seen video of Tucker Carlson tonight, exclusive. Georgia Democratic Senator candidate Raphael Warnock accused by his now ex-wife Ule of running over her foot. Here is the police body cam footage as the officer responds to the scene.
I want to file a report.
Ule Warnock told an Atlanta police officer her estranged husband ran over her foot during a heated argument back in March while he was trying to leave with their young children in the back seat.
All right, so you walked over.
So I'm like,
you
move,
saw her
and
in the
she
movie.
won't move, and she's keeping the door open. So I'm like, Chloe, just stay in the car. And I move, and I close my car door, get in the car, and I start to move slightly, thinking she's here.
Clear. She
Yeah,
out the way.
I'm thinking she's clear, and I barely moved. And all of a sudden, she's screaming that I ran over her foot. I don't believe it, but I don't.
Warnock, the senior pastor at Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, was not charged in the incident. Hospital first responders say his wife was able to wiggle her toes, and there was no redness, bruising, or broken bones. But Ule had more to say about Warnock's character.
This man's running for the United States Senate, and all he cares about right now is his reputation. I work at the mayor's office, and this is a big problem.
Okay.
I've been trying to be very quiet about the way that he is for the sake of my kids and his reputation. I've tried to keep the way that he acts under wraps for a long time, and today he crossed the line. So that is what is going on here, and he's a great actor. He is phenomenal at putting on a really good show.
As you mentioned, Tucker, Warnock is locked in a tight runoff against Republican Kelly Loeffler, a race that 2 weeks from now could decide the balance of power in the U.S. Senate.
All right, guys. So we got a chance to look at the video. Thanks to Tucker Carlson and him breaking that on his show. Thank you so much. Fox News reporting that. The one of the issues that we have here is the fact that we are not. I think we're good. There you go. We do have an opportunity to actually see that live footage, and I wanted you to see that. You know why I wanted you to see that? I want to ask you how honest you are now. How honest of a person? I don't live in Georgia. I can't vote in Georgia. Maybe you do if you're listening to the News Rocky show that's coming to you live from the Pie Hop studio here in downtown Norwich, and across from the right across from the town hall. We have the Pie Hops restaurant downstairs at 80 Broadway. Great place. Come on down. Maybe you're in Georgia. Maybe you have the ability to go out and vote or not vote. This is a very serious, and so I got a come on, man. She looks like a pretty amazing actress. So very interesting. And I appreciate these comments. I want to hear more of these because it's really telling, right? That's a perception because I'm assuming that we're thinking that she is an angry wife, right? She's a scorned woman. She's probably someone that wants to get back or ruin his opportunity, right? I don't care if Tucker Carlson's a puke, dude. It comes down to the video. See, that you're preoccupied by your hate for Donald Trump and winning victories versus a victim. But yet the same people out here who want to criticize, the same people who want to talk about it, why don't you look at a victim? Why don't you assume she's a victim first before you start running your mouths? You see, this is the problem with each and every one of you. You're disingenuous and not honest. Because if you can be honest, if that was a Republican and someone, if Donald Trump's son ran over somebody's foot, you would want to hang that person from the top of the world, well, not the World Trade, that is stupid. The Empire State Building, obviously. You know what I mean? I'm so fired up right now because this is such a bullshit situation. You're going to get mad. You're going to say, oh, it's bullshit. She wants to get paid now, right? Because she's a woman, right? Because women, that's all they do. They only make claims because they want to get paid. If you guys, you didn't pay attention, see, because we're all going from, and I'm a man. I get it. I've investigated and interviewed hundreds and hundreds of people in my days. In prison, whatever, and talk to people. I read body language fairly well. The fact that the officer allowed this individual, this candidate running for Senate, to stand next to the perceived victim while they're investigating, is a telling sign she was intimidated. She was being intimidated by and coerced by that perceived attack by the vehicle. You can say whatever you want. You can call it money. You can call it politics. And I'll call you disingenuous. And at the end of the day, I will stick by my guns. It's very sad that you can't be genuine enough and care enough about women. That's what I'm talking about. You think having a woman get ran over? I bet you clowns out there want to compare this to Trump saying slap her in the pussy, right? Because that's about the friggin' right. That's how you're gonna. This is how you're gonna level this. Trump says slap her in the pussy. He tries to run over his wife. It's all the same, man. Not a big deal, right? You guys are so full of shit. It's ridiculous. This is why we have such a divided country. Because what I just showed you, and if you could have watched it honestly and genuinely, you would have heard exactly what we were talking about and what I was trying to explain. Look at the victim. She's standing there. You think she's not a victim. You only think she's not a victim because you hate Donald Trump and anything that a Republican stands for. You're so full of it. You know what I hope? I'm going to put, calm down. I'm going to put some prayer on now. And I'm going to hope and pray for you that in 2021, that each and every one of you evil bastards who can't find your way out of the anger you have in your heart because of one individual, you'll find a new light. I hope you find a new light of something that guides you better than where you've been guided. Talk about fake friggin' news. The fact that you see video of this happening, you still don't want to believe it because you're all full of shit. Each and every one of you. You know, I need a drink. Fuck you, 2020. This is what this is the great part about News Rocky. First of all, we're not censored by any anything. We can say what we want, and we want you to say what you want. We don't want to. You know what? We might have a disagreement. We're never going to have an argument on News Rocky show. Never will have an argument. We'll have a disagreement. We'll have a conversation. But I will tell you this: I am so proved. I am reinvigorated in the belief that corporate media has a blinded eye when it comes to one side of a discussion. Corporate media has provided those people like yourself who are a little bit weak mentally when it comes to understanding the policies of politics. They have provided enough evidence to you to just think no matter what they say, it's true. And I'm not mad at you because you're not mentally substantial enough to understand what's going on. I feel for you. I love you and I want to help you, but I can't help you if you won't at least open your eyes and your mind. That video was a great example, guys. A great example of how you won't be able to open your eyes to that because you're just so hated. You have such hatred towards Donald Trump and anything a Republican stands for. Guys, this is going to be a really important race in Georgia. Let me ask you this. If you knew, you in your heart believe he's not guilty of this claim by his ex-wife, he's not the greatest actor, as she said, he didn't hurt her in any way, he was actually wrongly accused. That's what you believe. And let's say that new video surfaces, say maybe in April, and actually this individual is elected to Senate. He is there for 6-7 years in the Senate. Guys, that's your choice. But yet, if one candidate who runs as a Republican has one claim against him, you want to bring down the House, you know? So I got a Ryan Robert chiming in. No injuries after the foot being run over is definitely shady. Well, look, fact of not, some people, aren't used to being assaulted. Maybe they're not around that. Maybe not subject to it. I don't think an individual, he basically admitted to moving the vehicle, right? And she just said he ran over my foot. So she was standing there. By the way, you know what this resembles? Wait a minute. Holy shit. I just had a really good thought. Just like all these things that took place this year, taking over streets, stopping traffic, feet getting ran over. Wait. Oh, those were victims, though. Those were victims. Those are victims. People who are stopping traffic, creating disruption. Not in approved gatherings, but you want to say that those were victims, right? When somebody took off and hit somebody. Guys, you honestly, this is the whole thing, man. We got to be honest, and you guys aren't honest. This is why Tucker Carlson, you don't like Tucker, Pat, because he tells the truth, because you can't handle the truth, But all of a sudden, you're just going to come. You really are committed to defending her. I'm not saying she's right or wrong. I'm telling you from that video, if I was in a jury box, I would 100% believe she's a victim of something. She was shaken. She was acting in a way that was intimidated, and I believe the police put her in a position that day as well. And I'm a back the blue guy. I don't think it was on purpose, but you never investigate a claim in front of the victim and the accused. That's not how it works. I mean, guys, we've been watching Cops for what, the last 30 years? We've seen better police work on that show, chasing some white trash to a trailer park and dealing with them. So don't give me crap about that. But yet, you know what? Just yesterday, we were talking about how black men across this country are held accountable. Why wasn't he shot then? Why didn't they take him down to the ground? Right? According to most of you folks out there, that's how it's supposed to be, because all black men, they get taken down to the ground. I don't care their education or economics. They are victims. Victims. But yet in this situation, you see a black woman. Maybe you're just a sexist. Maybe you're just a sexist. Maybe you're just a hater and a sexist, and you can't see through it to agree that this is possible. But yet you'll bet on that, and you'll vote this guy into office. And you know what? Then you own him. Then you own him. Right? Then you own him. Just like the scumbags who have been elected who were Republicans. Listen, let's talk about a scumbag in Connecticut. John Rowland was a scumbag. He was a Republican, guys. A scumbag. A scumbag. Okay? Should have been in jail longer than he was. I don't like him. I think he's a lying piece of shit. He should have been in jail longer, should have been in jail earlier. Here's a great example. I don't care if he's a Republican or not. I'm telling you, he's a scumbag. You can't say the same because you're disingenuous. You're so heated. I feel bad for you. I really do. I think we're going to work on this in 2021. We're going to go through some training classes here on the News Rocky Show. We're going to help you relieve yourself of those feelings. We're going to help you become a better human. Because, see, we can't have it both ways, guys. You can't claim one thing and defend another. You can't defend this one without at least admitting this is a possibility. So all you guys out there who've been watching the show today, News Rocky, and you women, I don't want to be sexist here as I'm defending women. I appreciate what you're doing. We're down in the last 3 minutes. And I want to just give a big shout out to our tech here and running the show today. Slay doing it all day long. We got a great thing going here at this Pi Hop studio. We are definitely going to be, hopefully we'll be doing this for a long time, building this Helms Media Group project, the News Rocky. Yeah, Do Not Sports last night. Slay was in for them too, doing the thing. You're going to see the video getting better. You're going to see this, footage coming in. We're going to be zooming people in. We're going to have an opportunity to actually make this show. I think the networks, Fox News and everything will be referring to us in 2021 about what we're putting out there, because we're going to take on the fake news. And by the way, taking on fake news means I'm taking on you too. And I want you to take me on. I'm not always right, guys. I'm wrong too. Okay. I'm honest and I'm wrong. I'm not always right, but I'll tell you in this situation, I'll get back to this quickly. Georgia, she's a victim. And for you to think automatically she's not, you're just a sexist. And I'm challenging you to think about that right now. Guys, we're going to be taking tomorrow and Christmas. Let's see, tomorrow, Christmas Eve, take Christmas off. We're going to come back next week. We'll be back here on Monday for our regular time. Probably do the same thing next week, take Thursday and Friday off with New Year's. But we appreciate if you have a great holiday. Enjoy your Christmas with your family. Don't forget this, guys. This is the whole thing. As much as we can have a heated conversation, we need more love in this world. One of my great friends, Tom Cantone, always says about the Beatles, the Beatles is the songs we should be listening to. We need more love. We need to let go of the anger. And you know what? Trump lost. Trump is a loser. He lost the campaign. I don't care if there was corruption or cheating going on. I can accept it. I can move on. Joe Biden's not going to be a president for more than 6 months. I can accept it. You can't. Kamala Harris is going to be the president. This has been the plan. I know, and you know. I know that guy in Georgia assaulted his wife. You can lie about it all day. The News Rocky's not going to back down. Each and every day, Monday through Friday from 4 to 5, News Rocky coming to you live right here from the Pi Hop Studio, 80 Broadway. I love you guys. Merry Christmas. I can't wait to be back here next Monday getting in the ring with you guys. God bless. Hey, this is News Rocky coming to you live Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. from 80 Broadway, downtown Norwich at the Pi Hop Studio.
News Rocky. Hey guys, I just got out of rehab, political rehab, taking on fake news, and we know there's plenty of that out